All right, hey there, Twisted Sage here. All right, I'm feeling called to illuminate what's gone on with this young lady. Um, so let's first talk words. Words speak things into existence. They speak vibration. This is why it's important to understand the language you use and the words you use. I'm just going to touch on one word at this moment, and that's going to be planet. Let's break down planet. So I believe the ancient Greeks referred to planet as a wandering star. So even though the sun and the moon are considered illuminaries, they put light to things, they can still be considered a planet because it is a star wandering in the sky. So this young lady, she was a Sagittarius, but she was a Sagittarius with Pluto conjunct her sun. So just that aspect alone, she said 22 degrees Pluto in Sag, 23 degrees Sun in Sag. But that conjunction was totally illuminating the underworld for her. Now, I was very close to her uncle, who subsequently also took his own life. Who was a Scorpio, a later degree Scorpio. And so, let's see. I'm trying to do the math in my head. 23. So, yeah, he could have been like a 26 degree Scorpio, touching on that galactic center point of deep emotion. She was 22 degrees Mars in Scorpio and also 27 degrees Venus in Scorpio. So his sun basically would have conjuncted her Venus, or perhaps midpointed, meaning right in the middle, close to midpoint, in between her Mars and her Venus. Venus doesn't do well in the sign of Scorpio. Mars, on the other hand, does. But at this time of her death, both Jupiter and Pluto are at 22 degrees of Capricorn, which would be a sextile energy over to her Mars, which would be an opportunity. Obviously, dark opportunity. Pluto ruling the underworld, Capricorn being the coldest motherfucker in the zodiac. Let's touch. So she also had some significant oppositions going on. Again, Mars, the planet of drive, is currently 15 degrees of Aries, directly opposing her Jupiter in Libra at 15 degrees. So feeling that tug of war in relationship. Now here's where the Saturn's been known. When you look at someone's timing of death, you look at Saturn. And Saturn was in direct opposition to her Saturn at 26 degrees. She had a 26 degree Saturn in Cancer, which Saturn doesn't want to be in Cancer. So she was a nurturer by structure. And perhaps in career, she would have chosen a path of nurturing others. But Saturn was directly opposed that. I don't know the time of her birth, so I went off of intuition. And I come up with a 0-degree Aquarius moon. So she had all-knowing emotions, perhaps. It's important to know the time of birth because the moon will change around 13 degrees a day. So there's a little iffiness there, but the significance of this is that Mercury hit 0 degrees of Scorpio yesterday. So our minds collectively are on that deep emotion. And so for her, if I'm close to correctness on her time of birth, this would have created an internal emotional issue. The squares are usually depict more of an internal battle than an external battle of the opposition aspect. Super significant is she was a North Node in Taurus, 0 degrees, which means she was a 0-degree South Node in Scorpio, which means that Mercury hit 0 degrees and thus hitting her South Node, the aspect of needing to release and move towards that North Node of self-value. The reason self-value in the North Node is because it's a Taurus. Taurus deals with our self-value. So let's break down planet. What's the first part of it? The first part of that word is plan, to plan. The second portion of that word is a net. What does a net do? It catches things. Okay? So this is why astrology to planet. This is why to know your astrology, and I say, my phrase is, if you're not paying attention to our stars, you're sailing the seas of life with no compass. Now, whatever, we all have an internal compass, but this gives you some framework to know what's happening in the astrology, to understand that regardless of your own free will, you're still subject to the neighborhood you live in, this solar system. You can't deny that Saturn was directly opposed her Saturn, and Saturn rules death, along with Pluto being the planet of death and transformation. And this comes 1 month before she was going to turn 16, which subsequently, there was going to be an eclipse right on her birthday. So that South Node, what are we releasing? Just goes to show you, it doesn't matter your upbringing. What is your planetary influence? I don't know. No, had I or someone else been able to present this, like, look, you're going through it's rough waters for you right now. It's not going to stop the internal feelings you have, but know that once you can get past this point, at some point it'll smooth out. That Jupiter and Pluto conjunction, sextile her Mars, opportunity of deep, cold, emotional action. All right. This Pluto and Sagittarius, a lot of deaths in it. I've heard other astrologers talk about. I don't think we've seen the worst of suicides yet. I think the souls on this planet have been so conditioned to see life is too logical, ignoring spirit, that nothing ever ends. It just transforms. And here on this planet, yeah, we live in a very three-dimensional, very dense energy. So it's like, our minds move faster than the reality. The reality is way behind where we want to project the happiness of our existence. This is why yoga and breathing are so important. It brings you into the now moment in a greater relationship with your body. Yeah, I think once, the Aquarian energy coming in is going to be, everything has a polarity, a good, bad. But obviously, the world we live in needs change in understanding instead of understanding. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we increasingly see more suicides happen due to the awakening of a greater reality and people not being able to handle that. I think one of the greatest fears for people is thinking they know it all and then being awoke, and that's going to be the scariness. For some, it'll be amazing. So I guess I'm going to leave it at that. Look up. Look to your stars. They speak way more than I can even pull in and interpret.